Are you someone that likes pointless facts that have no impact on your life whatsoever? Then welcome, nerds! This is the video for you. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the ESC Harry channel. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Today, I will be going through 7 Eurovision 2025 facts you didn't know. Now, through the nature of it being a competition, Eurovision is filled with loads of statistics and facts, such as the obvious ones like the 10 qualifiers from the semi-finals, who came in last place in the final, and who was the eventual televote winner. We don't talk about the televote winner this year. Fair enough. But those are all probably typical Eurovision facts that you are all aware of. In this video, I'm going to give you 7 Eurovision 2025 facts that you didn't probably know. Why 7, you might be asking? That was the amount I could think of. That's genuinely the reason. I thought of 7, that's why it's 7. Now, will these 7 facts impact your life significantly? No, probably not. As I suggested in my intro, these are all fairly pointless stats that are useless in everyday life, but I find them all quite interesting and I hope you all do too. But before we get into these facts, make sure to like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe if you're new to ESC Harry, and comment down below some of your facts that maybe other people don't necessarily know. Obviously, don't use the 7 in this video, that's cheating. With that being said, let's get into the facts. Fact 1. All Nordic countries qualified for the final for the first time since 2014. Now, to be honest, this might be a fact that you guys are aware of. After all, this did circulate social media and various other news sites when this did happen. However, I'm using this video as an opportunity to brag, because in my 5 shocking moments video that might happen, this is what I said. Number 1, all the Nordics qualify for the final. I think this year, more than ever, there is a realistic chance that all the Nordic countries get into the final. So there we have it, proof that I am a Eurovision genius and everything I say is gospel and fact, and I get everything right when it comes to predictions. Ignore the fact I said Latvia wasn't going to qualify this year. But yes, as I said in that video, out of the 5 Nordic countries, we all assumed that Norway, Sweden and Denmark were safely through to the final. However, we were unsure about Iceland and Denmark, especially considering both were outside the odds to qualify. However, thankfully for this stat, and also for my personal taste as well, Iceland managed to qualify for the first time since 2022, and more importantly and significantly, Denmark managed to qualify for the first time since 2019. Yes, before lockdown. That is how long it had been since Denmark were in the final. And yes, this did mean that for the first time in 11 years, all Nordics participated in the Eurovision final. And more significantly, my prediction on that Shocking Moments video did actually happen. Honorable mention to another thing I said in that video, which is Greece getting top 5. So close. Damn you, Italy, why do you always have to be good at the contest? Fact 2. First time all Baltic nations qualified for the final in back-to-back years. Like the Nordics, another region of Europe where all the countries qualified for the final this year was the Baltics, which consists of Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. Now, this is not the first time all Baltic nations have qualified for the final. In fact, it happened very recently, last year, in fact, in 2024. Now, what's significant about that is, for the first time since semi-finals were introduced, all Baltic nations qualified for the final in back-to-back years, in 2024 and in 2025. Now, obviously, all of these nations have been in every Eurovision since the semi-finals were introduced, so why has it not happened before this? Well, the main 2 reasons are Estonia's 5-year non-qualification streak in the mid-2000s, and Latvia only qualifying for 2 finals between 2010 and 2023. Now, funnily enough, the 2 years that Latvia did qualify for the final were consecutive in 2015 and 2016. However, Estonia let the side down in 2016, failing to qualify and actually coming last in the semi-final with their song Play. Turns out magic does not get you enough votes to get to the final. Fact 3. 3 countries got their worst result in 2025. Out of the 37 countries competing this year, no one got their outright best position at the contest. Obviously, Austria won the contest this year, however, they had previously won it in 2014 as well. However, the same can't be said for the other end of the best and worst spectrum, the worst side, with 3 countries getting their worst ever result in Eurovision. Now, interestingly enough, two of these countries are ones that have failed to qualify for the final for the 4th time this year, those being Azerbaijan and Serbia. Azerbaijan got only 7 points in semi-final 1, which was enough for not only last in the semi-final, but also overall. Meanwhile, Serbia had previously never finished lower than 11th place in a semi-final, meaning their 14th place finish in semi-final 2 this year was enough for their worst ever result. Now, the final country that got their worst result this year might actually surprise you, because it is actually a country that qualified for the final. I'm talking about Luxembourg. That's right, despite maintaining their 100% qualification record this year, Luxembourg actually got their worst result in Eurovision history, finishing in 22nd place. Their previous worst was in 21st, which was back in 1992. Now, Luxembourg's song this year was inspired by their 1965 winning entry, which does ironically mean that Luxembourg's best and worst results were songs about puppets. Although neither were the worst performing song that was linked to a puppet. I apologize you had to hear that. Fact 4. Every country can qualify with the televote. In 2023, the decision was made by the EBU to make the semi-finals televote only, meaning that the 10 qualifiers were decided by only the public vote. This decision was met with some concern by Eurovision fans, in particular for smaller nations who would not get the same regional and diaspora voting as others. However, thankfully, due to the results this year, every country that has competed at least twice since 2023 has now qualified for the final at least once. This year, 4 countries qualified in the televote-only system for the first time. Those being the aforementioned Denmark and Iceland, but also Malta and San Marino. The only 2 countries that have failed to qualify in the televote-only system are now Montenegro and Romania. Both these countries have only taken part once since this system was implemented, which means all you need to do is take part in 2026 and maybe your fortunes will change Montenegro and Romania. It will also help if you sent a good song too. Speaking of San Marino, by the way, Fact 5, Gabry Ponte, San Marino's first-time qualifier. One of the biggest surprises I would say this year was Gabry Ponte getting San Marino into the final, only the 4th time that the micronation has made it. Now, they did come last in the final, but to be fair, they usually come last in the semi-final, so last in the final is a massive improvement. Looking at the other 3 people that have qualified for the final for San Marino, we have Valentina Monetta in 2014, Serhat in 2019, and Senet in 2021. Now, while all 3 of those are cult heroes in Eurovision fans' eyes, Gabry Ponte actually managed to do something that none of those 3 did: qualify on their first attempt at Eurovision. San Marino are one of these countries that has a habit of repeating artists at the contest. Graham Norton, I believe, actually once said in a postcard that taking part for San Marino in Eurovision is like jury duty. However, this fact does mean that all 3 of San Marino's prior qualifiers did take part and failed to non-qualify before they eventually made the final. Serhat did so in 2016, Senet in 2011, and Valentina Monetta twice in 2012 and 2013. She would also take part later on after she managed to qualify in 2014, back in 2017 and in 2026. Okay, I know that technically that last one hasn't happened yet, but look, it's been like 8 years since she last took part. It feels like way too long. I'm sure that she's eventually going to make it 5 times for San Marino. But yes, Gabry Ponte is the first San Marino act to qualify on their first attempt, and if the nation continues with their national final, potentially more people will follow in his footsteps. Fun fact, Gabry Ponte is also the first act to qualify for the final while only counting in his song.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Fact 6. First time since 1984, the top 3 performed in the first 10 slots. The top 3 finishers in 2025 will go down as one of the weirdest, with Austria winning, Israel in 2nd, and Estonia in 3rd. Now, while these being the top 3 is weird from the standpoint of fan perception and also odds, it's also weird from where they performed in the running order, with all of them being in the first 10, Austria at 9, Israel at 4, and Estonia at 3. This marks the first time such an event has happened in 31 years, when all the way back in 1984, Sweden won from the opening spot with the Harrys. Wait, the Harrys? There was an act called the Harrys that won Eurovision? Oh, the Harrys. That makes more sense. In a lovely piece of irony, it was actually a Swedish trio this year that came the closest to this fact not happening, with Kai and Bala Balabastu finishing in 4th from slot 23. But sadly, the power of saunas was not enough to crack the top 3. Fact 7. First time since the removal of the language rule that the final 2 performances were not in English. Going from one end of the running order to the other, before 1999, countries participating in Eurovision had to participate using a song in their own native language. Apart from like a brief period in the 70s where that wasn't the rule, but let's ignore that for the sake of easiness. Since this rule was removed since the turn of the millennium, we've seen an increase of English songs at Eurovision. A fact that a lot of British and Irish fans actually use as the main reason why they don't do as well in the contest. Yes, that reason. And not the fact that we've sent songs such as this. And this. Why have I written that goddamn turkey in this script twice? However, another side effect to the increase in English songs at Eurovision was that for the past 25 contests, at least one of the final 2 songs performing in the final was in English. That all changed in 2025, with the final 2 songs being from San Marino, performed in Italian, and Albania, performed in Albanian. Wow, I really did have a lot of San Marino-based facts in this video, didn't I? That was complete coincidence. And yes, before you comment it, I am aware that Gabry Ponte counts in English. That does not count. Shush, shush, does not count. Shush, I'm not having it, does not count. Interestingly enough, the final 4 songs actually weren't performed in English this year, with Sweden's act being in Swedish and Finnish, and France's act being in French. In general, actually, over the last couple years, we've seen an increase in non-English songs at the contest, and overall, they do perform well. So hopefully, a run of non-English songs closing the grand final will become more and more of a regular occurrence as the contest goes on. Anyway, those are 7 Eurovision 2025 facts that you probably didn't know. Did you enjoy any of them? Did you find them interesting? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you have any facts yourself that you think I might not know or other Eurovision fans might not know, put them down there as well. I'd be very interested to hear them. Once again, make sure to like this video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new to EC Harry. This is usually where I would say so you don't miss any Eurovision 2025 content. I'm pretty sure this is the last bit of Eurovision 2025 content that I will be giving you. What a run it has been for Eurovision 2025, and just overall the last year and a bit. The channel has grown so much more than I could have anticipated, genuinely, and it is all because of you guys following me throughout this journey. I love all of you that have supported me, however many videos you've watched. Genuinely, it's been amazing. I thanked you guys like in a video I did just after Eurovision last Sunday, but it really means the world, your support, and hopefully we can go on to bigger and better things for, first of all, Junior Eurovision in 2025 and the adult contest in 2026. At the very least, I hope it's just more positive in many aspects, put it that way. But all that's left me to say is I hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time. Don't know when, but next time for another video on this channel. Take care, guys.